I'm here with John Benham. Am I saying it right? John
Yep,
Benham?
John Benham.
John
Exactly.
Benham.
Yep.
John, so I'm going to kind of go over, just tell me a little bit about yourself. I know you've been in the financial services industry a while.
Yeah, 39 years.
39, wow.
Yeah, long time.
Longer than I've been alive.
Yeah, I was 20 when I got started, so
Wow.
yeah, definitely.
How old are you now?
I am 59.
You
I'll
look
be
like you're
60 in September.
45.
Well, just gotta take care of yourself.
So,
Work
yeah,
out.
you give me the tips.
Work out, take vitamins, hydrate.
All right.
Yeah.
Awesome. So John, we'll first go into this industry specifically.
Right.
We have this company Vantage, and you've owned it for a few years.
Yep.
And we're kind of switching into a different model. Can you talk
Right.
about that a little bit? The industry specific details, the model, true financial services. Can you kind of elaborate on that?
Yeah, the big problem is, I grew up very middle class poor. And one thing about even just regular middle class, they don't have a financial education. They don't know how money works. Most of the people that are out there doing this only work with the high net worth individuals, the ones that have a lot of money, and that's where the money is. And this industry, this model kind of started really in the 70s. But since that time, there's 100,000 less advisors today than there were in the 70s. But there's 112 million more people.
Right.
So the need for people to have this education is huge, and no one's getting their way out. And the products and services, the things that are available nowadays for the middle American investor to go out there and make and save money and learn the secrets of the rich are better than they've ever been. But there's not enough distribution to get it out. So it's one of those things. And you can tell your friends about Amazon or Uber, and that's a great little life hack. But getting their finances together is probably one of the most important things they can do outside of religion or health or those kind of things. And so it's teaching people those secrets, basic principles they could put into place that will help them become financially independent and not be in the situations they are. I think the biggest fear of people today is outliving their money. And there's ways to prevent that if you learn certain secrets and implement those in your lives.
Let me ask you this: why do you think they don't teach us what we need to know about financial services in the public schooling system?
Yeah, that's the crazy part, because you would think there would be a class. When I actually came up, I did the work program where you actually could go and get out of school early the last 2 years, but if you worked a job and you got credit for work, but you had to go to a class, and that class taught you basic financial principles, but that was only for the kids that actually had a job. So if you didn't have a job and you were just going to school doing the regular classes, you didn't get that class. And I think that's something that should be taught in high school, middle school. It'd be amazing if that was taught more, and I have no clue why not. Maybe they want us to rely more on the government. I don't know. It's interesting.
How many licensed agents does Vantage have?
Yeah, we have about 20, well, almost 3,000. We're about 50 or so away, as I looked yesterday, from having 3,000 agents across the country.
Okay.
Our goal is to bring on 25,000 this year.
Okay.
So yeah, we got a lot of growth going on right now.
What's the goal let's say, do you have a 5-year and a 10-year plan or 10-year goals?
Our big plan for the company is actually to have a defining event, either sell it or go public in the next 5 to 6 years. It's going to be massive. It's going to be we already got companies that want to buy us now. I told them we're not ready to sell now. We want the check to be huge. We want it to be really big and life-changing. And we got a lot of work to do before then anyway. While there's a money side of it, it really is just helping as many families as possible learn these secrets they can implement in their lives. And the part B of that is offering an opportunity, a chance for someone to go out there and have a business of their own, with their business, not by themselves, for themselves, not by themselves, so they can get out of these jobs and businesses they don't like and start making some real money.
Awesome. You talk about being able to start your own business,
Right.
and when I talk to people about this type of business model, you have some people that are very skeptical on it, right? Because they say it comes from the Amway model, the multi-level marketing
Right.
sense.
Yeah.
And it puts a bad taste in some people's
Right.
mouths. For me, I liked it because I look at it like, hey, you can grow a business without
Right.
having to take on what
Yep.
you guys had to take on.
Yep.
Right? Can you elaborate on why this may be something that's not just for the regular
Right.
day person, but somebody who is high level, high
Right.
net worth,
Yep.
already wealthy?
Yep.
Can you go into that?
Yeah, we're definitely not network marketing. That's a whole different registration there, but you have a chance, obviously, to build a team. It can be
Right.
locally, regional, or nationally, but it works more like real estate. In the real estate model, you have a broker who runs a local office. He's got
That's a good way to
agents.
put it, okay.
He's got agents who work in his brokerage. And the problem with real estate, though, in that model, because I used to be a chief marketing officer of a mortgage and real estate company as well, is that the day the agent thinks he's as good as the broker, he'll leave and get a brokerage contract somewhere else. So the guy who trained him and put all that time into him loses that guy. But at the same time, it's not fair to hold that guy down. He should have a chance to go out there and advance as well. But he might hang his shingle right next door and be the guy's competition. In our model, we're not a franchise, but you can become a broker, we call them marketing director, and they can produce other marketing directors that can actually pass you, but you'll still receive a portion of the proceeds of what they're doing in their office, a portion of the revenue. So you have a chance to go out there and not hold people back, but actually move them up. And so it's almost like you could become a broker and produce other brokers and get paid for that as well. So you're not hiring your competition, you're actually building a marketing team.
Okay, no, that's a good way to put it. Talking about duplication. So in this business, Obviously, duplication I think is very
It's
important,
huge.
right? Can you elaborate on that a little
Well, you
bit?
look at the businesses that have taken kind of a turnkey approach, like McDonald's. You don't just buy a name, you buy an entire system of doing business. They have a system manual. You go to Hamburger U. Subway came along a few years later and they copied it. And there's more Subways than any other restaurant in the world
There
now.
is.
And every time you walk in a Subway, it's that same brick paper wallpaper in the back. You know exactly what condiments are going to be there. They don't change it. And we've done the same thing here. Every part of our business, from building the agency to running it to sales, is all formatted. So all I do is just copy the system. Just follow it and copy it, and you can have success.
All right, and I've seen it.
Yeah,
I've seen it
it's cool.
with you,
Yeah,
right? I've seen it with
yeah,
other people.
yeah,
I mean, thousands of people
yeah.
have become millionaires from
Oh,
this
absolutely.
business.
Yeah, I have a high school education, and I was going to go Air Force and become a pilot. That was kind of going to be my thing. And when I saw this model, I was like, "This is cool. Can I do it?" It's the first question I asked. He said, "Oh, anybody can do it. It's formatted. It's turnkey, and it's amazing." And yeah, you just run the system. I'm a good copier. Some of us copied in school on
Copy the right
tests.
cat, right?
Copy the right people. Here you can copy people that are already gone before you, and just copy it and emulate it, and you can have the same results they're having if you stay close to it.
I'm going to ask you a millionaire question because
Sure.
I know this industry, not just with this company, but just companies that are similar, that where this branched off to.
Right.
How many millionaires do you think have been made from this industry since the 80s?
I would
If you had to make a
guess,
guess.
and I would guess there's somewhere between 500 and 600 people who are cash flowing $1 million a year every year. As far as millionaires, it's probably way more than that, okay?
Right.
Because they obviously save and do some things. But cash flowing $1 million a year, it's pretty good money.
Yeah.
And there's probably 500 to 600 between all the companies that I'm aware of that are out there. Our last company, I think we produced just 50 alone. I think here we'll probably produce a couple of hundred because we're planning on being much bigger.
50.
Yeah.
So think about that in any company that people work in,
Right.
When you go get your 9 to 5.
Yeah.
How many people in those companies, even large companies, even Amazon, do you think?
None.
None.
It's a job.
It's
You're trading hours for dollars.
Right.
Here, your efforts can go out there and you can leverage your time by obviously building a team, which gives you more hours in the day. Because everyone only has 24 hours. But if you have 100 people on your team, you now have 2,400 hours plus yours that you can benefit from financially. Warren Buffett said, if you can't find a way to make money while you're sleeping, you'll work until the day you die. And this business allows you to leverage your time, leverage your efforts, and make that kind of money. It's awesome.
Awesome. I want to go into two different things a little bit more in
Sure.
specifically. So I'm talking about the people that are already they're making less than $100,000 a year. We'll call them middle America.
Yeah.
It's just your average American,
Yeah.
right? What about this industry would be something that, how do I put this? That would be something that they may be intrigued by this. Like, how do we get them to think this may be for me?
Yeah, the median income in this country is $76,000 a year right now, and if someone had a chance to go out and just bring an extra $2,000 to $3,000 a month part time, that could change things a lot. They could buy a bigger home, get out of debt quicker, and here you could come in if you just help 2 people a month go from an old program to a new program. You would probably make about $3,000 to $4,000, and that would take maybe 5 hours of your time.
So you can do a super part time.
Yeah, super part time. That's the thing. You can start part time. Matter of fact, most people we encourage them to start part time, and then don't quit until your income here doubles your job, and you have a lot of money saved in a cushion, and that's really the best way to do it.
Awesome. Now let's talk about higher net worth individuals.
Right.
Right. Someone that's making, I don't know, a couple $100,000 a year up into a couple $1 million
Yeah.
a year. Right. What would you say to somebody if you were sitting across from somebody right now that's making millions of dollars already? Why this is something that may be for them?
Because we have principles that traditional financial services doesn't teach. I have some clients that are worth 50, 60. My top guy's $70 million.
They probably don't know anything about all the stuff
Well,
that we offer.
and they'll be with like Merrill Lynch or one of these high-end companies that we're told to go to, and we'll sit down. We have some estate planning experts on staff that our guys can use. I don't have to become an expert in all this. I can put them in front of our estate planning expert. He'll review their plan, show them what to do. Now, I will fund it. Although somebody will tell you exactly what the steps to take. But we've knocked some of the bigger name companies out there that we would consider being the ones you've heard of because they offer very rudimentary approaches, the old school stuff. And there are some really new approaches to money that most people don't even know anything about.
I want to talk about the equity side of this.
Sure.
That was what intrigued me
Right.
most, right? From what I hear, we're setting aside 20% of the company for
Yep.
equity. Can you elaborate on that a little
Yeah,
bit?
what we want to do is build the company up. Obviously, the idea is to have this defining event, and that's our goal. And we want it to happen, so we can't guarantee it. But so if and when that happens, we're going to take 20% of whatever the company sells for, and it's going to go out to the field. And if you're an NMD and up, which is one of our titles that's kind of mid-range, every dollar you earned in the company, you're earning equity share credits. And so you'll get your pro rata share of that money. Um, our goal really is to have a B behind whatever we sell for. So
Okay.
I think we should shoot for 2 billion. Let's say minimum it's 1 billion. That's $200 million that would go to our field force. And then they're not buying it to shut it down. They're buying it to continue to grow.
Right.
So then you have a chance for this. Whoever buys us, there's some big organizations that want to buy us now that will then wine and dine you for the rest of your life. The last company that bought our company that we sold, they have villas down in the Caribbean. They'll do Super Bowl tickets, World Series tickets, Olympics. Like they do all the VIP treatment because they want to make you feel really good, so you don't want to go anywhere. So imagine building a team, getting all these great overrides, then having this great defining event where you get a big check, and then being able to be wined and dined for the rest of your life.
That'd be
That's
nice. That'd be
sweet.
nice.
How old are you?
I am 33.
So you'd be a whole 38 when that defining event took place.
Yeah,
Imagine.
still young.
Yeah, that'd
Still
be
young,
awesome.
especially with today's modern
Oh,
medicine. Just live until 80 is the average.
I think
now.
most people live to 100. I really
That'll
do.
be nice.
Yeah,
That'll
if
be
you,
nice.
if you do the right things, I think you can.
What do they say? My kids that are born today are going to live on an average of 100 years
Oh
old.
yeah, yeah. My grandfather died at 95. He never really worked out or did any dietary type stuff, and I've been on supplements my entire life since I was 19. I work out, I do all the things you're supposed to do, and I think that if you do those kind of things, barring an accident or some
Sure.
weird thing that happens, yeah, people could live a long time now to take care of themselves. You only have one body; you should take care of it.
That is true.
But because of that, you also got to take care of your financial part because you don't want to outlive your money.
Which
Because
is
the longer you live, the longer you're going to need money to continue to sustain.
that is a huge problem too. I mean, I see it with my grandmother. Right? She's got her pension and that's it. And no, I'm sorry. They even got rid of her pension because it was bought by a Chinese company. This
Yep.
company, and they got rid of it.
Well, my grandfather was General Motors, and he had a big pension. He saved. He was a great saver. Saved a lot of money in their plant over there. And the thing is, by the time he died, because he lived so long, every bit of it was depleted just to pay for his hospice care and then the assisted living he had to go through as he got older. Yeah, it's amazing how quickly that money goes away.
It is. It is. Well, I want to go over a couple more things,
Okay.
and then we'll wrap this up.
Sure.
But one of the most important things I think, me and David Henning, you know
Yeah,
David.
no, David's a good guy.
David's been one of
Great
my
guy.
mentors for 10 years.
Sure.
And he talks about, the health side of it. David had some really scary health stuff
He
happen
did.
to
Yeah, he
him.
died a couple times.
Yeah,
Yeah.
literally, right? In front of his wife and his
Yeah,
kids.
yeah,
Unbelievable.
yep.
These things happen. And so we've been talking a lot about how do we implement health into this, right? And not even just that, but like what it takes mentally for someone in your position. You've done very well in your life, and what the difference between the average person and someone who is higher net worth, not just on paper, not just with money, but mentally.
Yeah.
Right, with the health and fitness and yeah. So can you
I
elaborate?
think it
on
comes
that?
down to balance. I know some people get out of balance in their lives. They may be all about money or all about one thing. I think you just got to have balance in your life. You got to be obviously work toward great things, but you want to obviously whatever your faith is, be strong in that, put time toward that, develop that. On the health side, it really is just doing the things we all need to do. I lived in Dubai for about a year and I went to Europe a lot. And the Europeans make fun of Americans because we're all overweight. And part of it was, the first thing they said was, when you go to a restaurant in America, the portions are huge. And one thing I noticed about Europe traveling there is the portions are smaller. And you can actually start training yourself to not eat till you're full, but just eat a little bit. 'Cause it takes 15 minutes, they say, from the time you're full to your brain actually knows it.
It's interesting.
Yeah, so if
Okay.
you kind of stop midway or even have water before your meal, just don't cut your. I try to keep my caloric balance down to like 1,900 to 2,200 calories a day.
So you're eating things that you want to eat.
Right, I'm
You're
eating
just
what I
eating
want to
less.
eat. I'm just watching my calories. I remember the other day I had a craving for some Popeyes fried shrimp. I pulled in the drive-thru. They told me to hold on a minute. I looked at the calories in the bar while I was waiting, and every meal was 2,000 or 3,000 calories
Yeah.
per meal. And I was like, whoa, I'm not even that in a day. I left. I drove away because I was like, I'm not doing it. I'm not messing it up.
Yeah, you take 3 bites and you're already 500
Oh
calories
yeah,
deep.
it's crazy.
That is.
So yeah, it really hydration, sleep. Some people don't sleep enough. You just gotta all the basic stuff we know we should be doing. If you just get in the gym, even if it's just treadmill or whatever, get active 5-6 days a week. Get out there and do something. And that sedentary life also is not good for you as well. And you hear about these old people who will fall and break their hip.
Mm-hmm.
It's because the bones are brittle. Bones need resistance against them, or they just start saying, "Well, I guess I don't need to be strong." And they start getting brittle, and you fall, and you get hurt, and then they get pneumonia. It's a bad situation. And the more you gain, the harder it is to lose. So just decide today that you're going to get on a good plan mentally, and once you develop the habit, then it becomes part of your life.
I hear this is something. I don't know if you ever heard this. I heard Tony Robbins say this, and I heard David Goggins say this.
Yep.
That most people don't ever sprint again after the age of 30. He said 90%
Yeah.
of humanity
Yep.
doesn't ever sprint again
Yeah.
after the age of 30.
Isn't that funny? Yeah,
I'm
do.
like sprinting after my kids
No,
every day.
yeah, I do some HID tree turning where you actually sprint and walk back, sprint, walk back. But even sometimes it's funny. We have this huge office out here,
Yeah,
and
you could use
yeah,
it.
yeah, and like Jeff's office is way over there. And sometimes when no one's looking, I'll run. It's just really fun. I mean, it's just why not? It's just, you get there faster. It's kind of feels really good. Yeah, because you're right. And not sprinting, you start losing those type of things. You lose balance. You lose all sorts of stuff. It's amazing.
Right. Last question,
Sure.
and this is, I think, the most important one. There are so many people that I've met in my lifetime, and you've probably met. You meet them every day. These people, for lack of, I don't know how else to say this, they're very small-minded.
Right.
Right. And I've heard two different sides of it. Right. Try to break them down, and not break them down in a negative way. Try to bring them up, I guess.
Sure.
Right. Or just move on. Right, the people that are small-minded, that don't believe in themselves, because you have a different belief system
Right.
than many people. You don't get to the position you are. You don't get to where you are
Yep.
without having a different mindset from most of humanity. What got you there?
Well, I was early on told about this book. I think everybody should read the book. It's called Think and Grow Rich by
I read it.
Napoleon Hill.
Yep.
Okay, I read it every year, and in there he talks about how you got to think about what your why is. What are your goals? You know, weekly, monthly, and your long-term goal. Like at one point, what is your goal? It could be in all areas of your life: spiritual, physical fitness, finance. And you're supposed to read those goals twice a day out loud, once in the morning, once at night. And what's interesting about that is when even if you had a mindset, a small mindset, it says go ahead and start reading it. And at first you're gonna be like, this is so dumb. If someone sees me reading these goals out loud, I feel like an idiot. There's no way I'm ever gonna hit these goals. And then like a week two, you're like, it'd be pretty cool if I get these goals. By week 3 or 4, you go, you know what? Maybe I could hit these goals. And all of a sudden, as you get farther in, you're like, you know what? I think I can do this. To the point where you actually get to you can do it. As long as you put action behind it. It's that old thing saying you pray like everything relies on God to get it done and work like it all relies on you. And when those converge, it can happen. But I think it's also getting around people who have a bigger mindset. They say if you hang around 5 people who are out of shape, you'll be the 6th.
Right.
Hang around 5 well people, you'll become the 6th. So it's who you hang out with and your associations and what you allow to flow in your mind. But I think just thinking rich alone, those goals every day, you start brainwashing yourself, believe it or not, to start believing you could do something bigger in your life. You could be healthier. You could have more money. You could have better relationships. And it starts to manifest itself, and it works.
And those people that try to bring you down, because you've probably experienced
A ton
that
of it.
throughout your life. I have.
Yep.
You may have, right? What do you say to those people?
You just kind of got to ignore them. My dad was that way growing up. My dad put me down all the time. When I first got in the industry, he's like, don't do it. Go get a real job. And he really hammered me every time he saw me. And I started out earning him. He got a little quieter. I made twice as much as he was making. He got real quiet. And eventually ended up joining the business for a little while. Never did much. But he went from telling me it was a horrible thing to be involved in to being involved. And it's that crabs in the basket story. If you have a bunch of crabs in a basket, they have the ability to climb out. But what happens is as soon as one of them starts climbing out, the rest of them pull them back down.
Mm-hmm.
So your family, your friends, people who really love you, they do. Their intentions are good, but if you start making steps in life to become better, they have the option of either joining you in that thing or staying where they are, and that's kind of uncomfortable. So it's easier to pull you back down than it is for them to rise up, and that happens a lot.
Awesome. Well, thank you for your
Oh
time.
no, thank you. Enjoyed
Seriously,
that.
I
Appreciate it. Great
Awesome.
questions. Yeah.
Awesome. All right.